What's up, everyone? Welcome to Harrods Avenue. So last night the Golden Globes debuted, and Spider-Man and Black Panther were both nominated, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was the only one that came out alive, unfortunately. And for best animated movie, and Black Panther lost against Bohemian Rhapsody for best picture in a drama. Because Black Panther was there, Kevin Feige showed up to the awards show and was actually interviewed by MTV, and he had some things to say about what's going on in the MCU with Guardians of the Galaxy, with James Gunn, with the whole Fox merger. And let's go ahead and just watch the video together because it's a really interesting interview. So here we go.
Mr. Feige, always good to see you, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you expect this kind of thing? I mean, obviously Black Panther has kind of probably surpassed even your wildest expectations. What are you making of sort of the ride this film is going on in award season?
Well, it's amazing. It's certainly the most important victory we've ever had. We had high expectations. We spent a lot of money on these movies. We put a lot of time into these movies. We believe in them and expect them to do well enough that we can do another one. That it had the cultural impact it had is what is most meaningful. This is my first time.
Yeah, definitely had a cultural impact for sure.
Black Panther has the power to bring Marvel.
The geeks are welcome, finally.
To bring Marvel to the
Hell
Golden
yeah.
Globes is pretty exciting too.
Every time the geeks are welcome, I'm always for it.
Marvel, DC, anything that you think that deserved recognition by the awards community?
Yes, of course. Dark Knight, obviously, you talk about.
There you go, Dark Knight.
But I think Marvel Studios made a lot of great movies, and I'm very proud of. Almost any of which I would hold up there with the best films of that year.
So a couple questions I know you can battle off very easily, but Avengers Endgame, we now know the title.
Yes.
How long did you know the title? Was the title in place during production?
It was in place before we started developing the movie.
There you go, confirmation, guys.
Just as we were developing it, yes. So Doctor Strange says that line because we knew it was the title.
There's been some talk that in the marketing of it, that we obviously seen the first trailer, which presumably doesn't show us much at all, that in the marketing you're never going to show us much past, say, the first 15 or 20 minutes of the movie. Is that a kind of strategy? Is that somewhat accurate?
I call it somewhat accurate. Yeah, I think as was the case with a lot of our films, this one in particular, being able to generate excitement without giving away any of the many secrets.
How many?
Many.
Yeah, that's a huge struggle.
Would be ideal, and I think the Disney marketing team is the best in the world, and we'll be able to pull it off.
I agree.
Captain Marvel, do you have a locked cut? How's it looking? How are you feeling about Brie bringing this character to life? What's unique about it?
Brie Larson is incredible. She's an amazing actor. We are still working on the cut. VFX coming together, music's coming together, the final mix. Were I not on this carpet talking to you right now, I'd be in the cutting room and on the mix stage, where the rest of the team is right this second.
I know you spoke recently about, obviously, the coming merger, and it's a little premature to get too deep into things. I don't know if you heard, I spoke to McKay the other day. Adam McKay said, Silver Surfer movie, I might need to give Feige a call. Have you gotten the call?
I've not gotten a call yet, but I've seen Adam tonight and at a number of these awards, and he is, not only, as everybody knows, an incredibly smart guy, he's an honest-to-goodness fan.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of sort of behind-the-scenes help with us on the first Ant-Man film. And have you seen Vice? He's little cameo, little Galactus cameo in there that we helped him get.
I did not know that.
I look forward to speaking with him more.
Is
That's
there
crazy.
a Fox property you're just excited to potentially get your hands on in particular?
The truth is, I'm excited for all of them. I'm excited, and it's not just the marquee names. There are hundreds of names on those documents, on those agreements, and the fact that Marvel is as close as we may ever get now to having access to all of the characters is something I've been dreaming about for my almost 20 years at Marvel, and it's very exciting.
Last thing for you. Is there any status on Guardians 3 in terms of what you're thinking you're going to do with that, in terms of finding another director? And I'm curious also, thoughts on James potentially getting into the DC universe. Is that bittersweet for you?
I went to see Aquaman last night, and I really, really enjoyed it. And you know me, I've always supported. I don't see a rivalry. I see cool films being made.
Exactly,
James
guys.
Gunn,
No rivalry.
James Gunn, he makes cool films. Guardians will happen. When, where, how, for a later time.
TBD, basically. Okay, so I told you guys that was a really interesting interview. I mean, the legendary Kevin Feige just came up and just confirmed a few things. I mean, he couldn't tell us much about the merger, but he did confirm that the Endgame title was pre-planned before Infinity War even was in production. And yeah, that was a really good interview. I mean, every time I see Kevin Feige, I feel like this guy belongs in a rom-com. This guy, he just looks like he has like a funny like I feel like he would be a really funny actor. Probably the coolest thing that Kevin Feige confirmed was that they're only going to use, or roughly, the first 20 minutes of Avengers Endgame. I think that's brilliant. I mean, the fact that you're doing that, it definitely leaves everything up to secrecy, and it keeps us surprised. And I think that's something that I feel like every studio should do, just focusing on surprising the audience as much as they can. I mean, for Batman versus Superman, for example, that itself, they freaking revealed the whole plot and basically the whole movie, and they definitely learned their lesson through that. But yeah, one thing I do is that I try to avoid as many trailers as I can for a movie that I'm going to watch, or something that I've been anticipating for, like Aquaman or Avengers Infinity War. Unless I'm going to do a trailer reaction, I probably won't watch that trailer, and that's just because I don't want to spoil anything like I've done in the past. I mean, there's been movies where I watch every clip, every trailer, every TV spot, and then when I go watch the movie, literally all those scenes are there, and I'm just sitting there like I've seen all those scenes already, and it sucks. So the fact that Kevin Feige has confirmed that, you know, they'll only market the first 20 minutes of the movie, I think that's really great, and that's a huge relief for me, just because I could watch these trailers without any thoughts of spoiling the movie for myself. And also, if these trailers are really good, just imagine what the rest of the movie will look like. I mean, if these trailers come out and they're and they have so much emotion and epicness and action, that's only just the first 20 minutes of the movie, or the first half hour. We still have roughly an hour and a half, or an hour or 2 hours left, like however long the movie is. That's insane, right? It's pretty crazy. So I'm really excited for what this next trailer will look like, if they even do drop it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a really dope idea to just only market the first 20 minutes. I mean, a lot of people are saying that Avengers Endgame, I mean, they don't even need to release a trailer. They could just release the movie in April, and, you know, people will still go and watch it. I think that movie will still blow it in the box office. And I mean, a lot of people want that, but if that actually did happen, I mean, that would cause uproar with the fans especially, and I mean, people would complain. But I mean, that's the power that this franchise, or even this movie, has. They don't even need to release the trailer, and they're really smart with their marketing, and I think that's something that I really admire about Marvel. Again, this was a great interview. I mean, he touched on Black Panther. You know, every time a comic book movie gets nominated, like, you know, Spider-Man, Dark Knight, Black Panther, Suicide Squad, every time they get nominated, I'm always gonna root for them, regardless if I know deep down inside they're gonna lose. I mean, that wasn't the case for Spider-Man, but I had a feeling. I mean, I knew in my gut Black Panther wasn't gonna win at all, but it's good that they were nominated. That does show that the Academy is kind of warming up to the idea of comic book films being in the award show. You know, regardless if Black Panther was even nominated, just because it was a, you know, culture phenomenon. I mean, nomination is a nomination, and I think we should take a win wherever we can get it, because I am a comic book fan, regardless if it's DC or Marvel. I am a comic book fan first. And so I think this was great. I mean, when he touched on the Endgame, I mean, a lot of people presumed that the Endgame title was started all the way from Age of Ultron, but from here, it really does sound like this guy, I mean, it really does sound like they planned it right before Infinity War. So I'm sure the guy that came up with the title had to go through all the Marvel movies just to look for clues on what the next title would be after Infinity War. And I mean, Endgame was definitely it. I mean, Tony Stark, he does say it in Age of Ultron when he said,
"That up there, that's the end game."
I think that's the perfect line, and it was definitely a perfect title for me for Avengers, post Infinity War. So another thing that he talked about was the merger. I mean, the merger with Fox. I'm sure it's very complicated. I mean, this is a merger for, I think it's been like 2 years already, and it's still not done yet. I mean, there's a lot of paperwork, and he was right. I mean, there's hundreds of Fox characters for us to choose from, or for Marvel to choose from, to bring into the MCU. And I think the fact that, Kevin Feige is a fan first, I think he knows exactly who to bring in and is comfortable with bringing a really deep cut Fox character into the screen. Having Adam McKay direct the Silver Surfer after Vice, I think that's awesome. And I think the fact that he even knows or even talked about Galactus, I think that does kind of hint that Galactus will be the next big bad after Thanos. I'm sure, I mean, all the clues are there. I mean, it's just perfect timing. Galactus is definitely going to be the next big bad. I mean, why not, right? Why choose someone else? And then he touched on Guardians of the Galaxy and James Gunn. Man, this whole James Gunn situation is definitely unfortunate. It's very sad to see, because I really would want to see him direct a Guardians of the Galaxy 3 over a Suicide Squad. But I mean, if that's not gonna happen, hey, Suicide Squad 2, man, let's go, James Gunn. I think he's gonna do a very awesome job with Suicide Squad. I mean, basically, Suicide Squad and Guardians of the Galaxy are almost very similar films, and so he's not, I mean, the change between the two is not very significant, but I think he's gonna definitely do a really good job. And we haven't heard much of an update for that film, so I'm wondering what's the status for that film, and where is he in with the script. And maybe he's gonna wait till this Birds of Prey movie comes out, because Harley Quinn's gonna be in there, and maybe he wants to know where Harley Quinn is going to be after Birds of Prey, because maybe he wants her in Suicide Squad. I mean, that's totally a missed opportunity, right, for not having her in there. Nonetheless, I'm definitely excited for a Suicide Squad 2 movie directed by James Gunn. Damn. But yeah, the whole Guardians of the Galaxy thing, it definitely sounds like they're still trying to figure things out. I mean, they're gonna still use James Gunn's script, so whoever's gonna jump onto this project is gonna have to repolish the script to fit their own vision, but still have James Gunn's voice. So I'm sure whoever takes over is able to execute. But yeah, this is a really great interview. I mean, you get a lot from what Kevin Feige is saying in here, and a lot of us that we're just pretty much speculating on the internet, right? I'm making these blogs and just give you my mindset of what I think will happen, but we never really know unless we actually hear it from the dragon's mouth, right? So Kevin Feige is that guy. He is the legend. So let me know what you guys think about this interview. What do you guys think about what Kevin Feige has said? Let me know in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.